coming back, I hung a right, went down to the street down here, came down, came in the back way, so.
Okay, we're like, that's what we were thinking.
I just
At
tried
6
to-
o'clock, we're gonna start the July 30th Millwood Planning Commission meeting. Start off with 6 o'clock, we're gonna start the Commissioner Rickard. Here. Commissioner Beasy. Planning
Here.
Commission, Commissioner Malter.
Here.
Commissioner Wu. Commissioner Rickard.
Here.
Commissioner Beasy.
Here.
Please note that she's attending via Zoom. Commissioner Rickard. Here. Commissioner Chairman Akins here. We do have a quorum. She's attending via. First order of business will be approval of the meeting agenda. Here we do have a quorum. It looks like it's pretty. First order of business will be run right through this thing pretty quick. Meeting agenda. In a motion to approve the agenda. Looks like it's pretty. First order of
The agenda.
Make a motion. Second. Second. Motion to approve the agenda.
Opposed? The agenda.
Second. Okay, so now we've got two different meetings to approve minutes from. So the first motion is, first discussion is on the July 1st meeting. Minutes from. So I looked it over. I thought it was pretty good. I discussion is on the July 1st meeting. On the July 1st, I looked it over. I thought it was that. I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 1st meeting. I thought it was that. I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting second July 1st meeting. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Second. Opposed, say nay. Any discussion? Motion passes unanimously. All in favor, say aye. Next one would be approval of the July 8th minutes. That was the joint meeting we had with the city council. Next one would be approval of the July 8th minutes. That was the joint meeting we had with the city council. And then it would be approval of July 8th. We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? I'll second it. We have a motion to approve. Any discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Any discussion? Guys have it unanimously. Okay, both of those meeting minutes are approved. Any discussion? Guys have it unanimously. Okay, both of those meeting minutes are approved. So we have a couple of action items tonight on the periodic update. We already have a couple of action items tonight on the periodic update. So, you know, what I'm going to say is I'm waiting for the movie highlights. Hopefully we're going to get. So, is Dr. Horster movie highlights? It's going to be by teams. Okay, so we have Dr. Meg Horst from Cascadia Consulting. It's going to be by teams. So we have Dr. Meg Horst from Cascadia Consulting. It's going to be by teams. So we have Dr. Meg Horst from Cascadia Consulting. Can you give us just a minute, Meg? Give us just a minute. We're turning up some volume. We're having a little difficulty. Can you give us just a minute, Meg? Give us just a minute. We're turning up some volume. We're having a little difficulty. Can you give us just a minute? Okay, perfect now. Okay. Just a minute. We're turning up some volume. We're having a little difficulty. Can you give us just a minute? Okay, perfect now. Okay. Just a minute.
Meg, okay, Meg, is it a little bit better now? Or is it still the same? Okay, Meg, is it a little bit better now? No.
Hello,
Or is
Meg.
it still the same?
Could you hear us now?
Meg, is it a little bit better now?
Hello,
Or is
Meg.
it still the same? Okay.
Could you hear us now?
Meg, is it a little bit better now? If, yes, if you would like to, or I can do the presentation however you want to do it. If, yes, if you would like to, or I can do the presentation however you want to do it. If, yes, if you would like to, or I can do the presentation however you want to do it. If, yes, if you would like to, or I can do the presentation however you want to do it. Is it, if it's easier, I can do it. I have her
Are
presentation.
we on Zoom or are we on Teams?
If it's easier, I can do it. I have her
Are
presentation.
we on Zoom or are we on Teams? Is his mic on? Is his mic on?
So I can go ahead and do just a quick introduction for myself, for Meg, while we're here. I can go ahead and do just a quick introduction for Center with Meg, Spokane County. Here, the planning team, and I've been Center planner that's kind of shepherding the climate change and resiliency element for Spokane County. And the city of Millwood is for Spokane with us, as well as about 7 other towns. The city of Millwood is on and so the work that we're doing for the climate elements, a lot of what we've done now as far as data gathering goes, the climate elements, a lot of what we've done now is something that data gathering goes from all the grant partners that we have, and something that data gathering so that we can know how to proceed, particularly with Millwood's climate element, as well as the other proceed counties that particularly with Millwood's climate element. So Meg's going to run through just a particularly slideshow. There will be some opportunities for your feedback on some things. And slideshow, there will be just an update on public participation opportunities, and there will be some opportunities for feedback opportunities, and the presentation pulled up, opportunities for feedback opportunities. Thank you. And the presentation pulled up, opportunities for feedback opportunities. Thank you. Meg, we did send those materials along, so right. Meg, we did send those materials.
Presentation?
So, no, the presentation. Oh yes, she's holding it. The policy audit there. Yeah.
Presentation?
So yes, they did get the policy audit. Oh yes, she's holding it. The other document. So yes, they did get the policy audit. Yes, she's holding it. Yes, the climate impact. That's what it is. They did get the policy audit. Yes, the climate impact.
that meet state requirements or meet the intent of the climate element. And, we actually found quite a couple of state requirements or meet the intent of the climate element. Touch on quite a couple of state requirements or meet the intent. You can see the table for the touch on quite a couple of state requirements or meet the intent. You can see the table for the touch on So this gives us a sense of where we might have more gaps and opportunities to show the table gives us a sense of where we might think more gaps and opportunities to show the table gives us a sense of where we might think more gaps and interestingly, those three proposals and we'll plan to refine that, including, and as we do that, we tend to have we'll plan to refine that, and as we do that, we tend to have, which you could do this plan to refine that, and which as we do that, we tend to have, which you could do this plan to refine that, that's only about which you could do this plan to refine that, that's only about about water resources and management. About water resources and addressing risks of landfill. Events, policies, and transportation. About water resources that are about addressing risks of events, policies, and transportation. And then you've got the content and addressing risks of so and protecting conservation wildlife. And then you've got so those are good ones to build up. So and protecting conservation wildlife. So those are good ones to build up. So and protecting So just one more the climate
So, any questions? I've got one. Looks like everything is focused. Can you hear me okay? I've got one.
Oh, I just wanted
Looks
to
like
see,
everything
Meg, are
is
you able to hear me clearly when I
focused.
speak into the mic?
Can you hear me okay? I've got one.
Oh, I just wanted
Looks
to
like
see,
everything
Meg, are
is
you able to hear me clearly when I speak into the mic?
Can you hear me okay?
Okay, alright.
Looks like
Meg,
everything
are you able to hear me clearly?
So so
Okay.
I'll try to speak loud, but maybe you need to turn the volume up on your computer. So I'll try to speak loud, but anyway, my question is, it seems like everything you focused on in the climate is heat related. Anyway, what do we gotta do? It seems like everything you focused on in the climate. So we're working with ideas to partner with West Valley, the high school and the churches for cooling resources. Are we also partnering with them on warming resources? High school and the churches for cooling resources. Are we also partnering with them on warming resources? High school and the churches for cooling resources. Are we also partnering with them on warming resources? High school and the churches for cooling resources. Are we also partnering with them on warming resources? High school and the churches for cooling resources. Are we also partnering with them on warming resources? High school and the churches for cooling resources. Commissioner Rickard, any comments? Okay. Commissioner Beasy?
Yeah, I noticed that
Commissioner
of
Rickard, any
the,
comments? Okay. Commissioner Beasy?
our documents that were reviewed was just a comprehensive plan. It seems like the shoreline management plan should be just a comprehensive plan. Looked at too. We have our own specific shoreline management plan. And I'm not sure, we just passed a new tree ordinance that seems like it should be
I'm not
big
sure
part
we
of this too,
just
and I'm not
passed
sure
a
where
new
it
tree
fits.
ordinance that seems like it should be. I'm not
Currently
sure
it's part of
we
this too,
just
and I'm not
passed
sure
a
where
new
it
tree
fits.
ordinance
Go ahead.
that seems like it should be.
Currently it's part of this too, and I'm not sure where it fits. Go ahead.
That seems like it should be.
Currently it's part of this too, and I'm not sure where it fits. Go ahead.
Seems like it should be.
Currently it's part of this too, and I'm not sure where it fits. Go ahead.
Commissioner Walter?
Well, I think our comprehensive plan addresses a lot of the things that they want us to address. I think we just need to fine tune ours a little bit to address a lot of the things that they want us to address. I think
Commissioner Wu, any comment?
ours a little bit to address a lot of the things that they want us to address. I think
Commissioner Wu, any comment?
ours a little bit to address a lot of the things that they want us to address. I think
Commissioner Wu, any comment?
ours a little bit to address a lot of the things that they want us to address.
Anything from city staff or Amanda?
The only note I added was, it sounds like this might be another good element to reference, the blue zones that we've talked about.
Yes.
And I did add a reference to the tree ordinance in the capital facilities section, but we can cross-reference in bold.
Seems like it should be part of CR. I had another question too, a more specific, should be part of CR. Technical question. I had another question too, a more specific, should be. There's a part in here where they are talking about emissions, the natural gas, fuel oil, propane, and there's a whole lot that are the electricity emissions. Natural gas, fuel oil, are we talking about? And there's a whole lot that are because greenhouse gas, electricity emissions, are we talking about where the electricity is generated, which is for the most part not Spokane County at all, and certainly not Millwood. Why is electricity for the most part not so high? What are we actually measuring? Certainly not Millwood. Why is electricity for the most part not so high? What are we actually measuring? Certainly not Millwood. Why is electricity for the most part so high? What are we actually measuring? Why is electricity for the most part so high? What are we actually measuring? But what are we measuring? What are we measuring to come up with? What are greenhouse gases for electricity? What are we measuring to come up with?
We're measuring, the actual unit is a CO2 equivalent.
Right.
That's like, is that what you're asking, the actual unit is a CO2 equivalent?
When I use electricity,
Is that what you're asking?
my business or my house or my car, when I use I'm not generating greenhouse gases in my house or my car. There is no greenhouse gas. I'm not generating. So what are they measuring when they have this chart of greenhouse gases? What are they measuring when they have this chart of greenhouse gases? When they have this chart of greenhouse gases? When they have this chart. So this is the point of generation. 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 So this is the point of generation.
Carry on. Anything else? Okay. Or is that your presentation? Carry on. Anything else? Is that the presentation?
Meg, can you?
Or is that your presentation? Carry on.
Planning Commission,
Is that the
Mr.
presentation?
Agni,
Is that your presentation? Carry on.
just asked, is that the end of the presentation? Mr. Agni, or is there more slides there? Just asked, is that the end of the presentation? Mr. Agni, or is there some more slides there? Just asked, is that
Can you send her the question in the chat?
or is there some more slides there? Just asked, is that Megan, I don't know if you can chat here. We're gonna try and send you a question in the chat. Megan, I don't know if you can chat here. We're gonna try and send you a question in the chat. Okay. Megan, I don't know if you can. Yeah, one of the members just asked if that was this is the final slide of the presentation, or if there's just anything else to share as the final slide of the presentation, or if there's just anything else to share as the final slide of the presentation, or if there's just anything else to share as the final slide of the presentation, or if there's just anything else to share as the final slide of the
And then we'll be coming back with
Thank you.
And I can provide the tree ordinance to Graham so he can share it with Dr. Hurst.
Thank you. Okay.
And I can provide the tree ordinance to Graham so he can share it with Dr. Hurst.
Thank you for your time, Dr. Hurst. Nice presentation.
Tree ordinance to Graham so he can share it with Dr. Hurst.
Thank you for your time, Dr.
thank you for your.
Hurst. Nice
He said, "Thank you for your time."
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your. He said, "Thank you for your time."
Moving on
He said, "Thank you for your time."
to the periodic update. Discuss modifications to rapid comprehensive plan. I'm sure that's you, Amanda.
That would be me.
To the periodic update. Discuss
So
modifications to
this will be
rapid
your first time
comprehensive
seeing the
plan. I'm sure
appendix.
that's you,
Pretty
Amanda.
much everything was carried over from the previous comp plan, but I did go in and update the definitions with some new information. But I did go in and so I have just a few that I'm going to cover here, starting at the beginning. As I stated at the joint meeting on the 8th, I did receive the okay from Commerce to use the census data they provided. So I went in there and added that chart. There was a data to replace one specific chart, so in that case I deferred to the other to put the disclaimer on about the low, the results. Disclaimer. And so, and then I updated anything I updated in the comp plan, I also updated in the RDI analysis, based on what we previously talked about with the census data. So that is RDI analysis, based on what we previously talked about with the census data.
I do have some questions.
So that is okay. Analysis. And then the next thing I will cover here is I added the note about STA providing a future stop east of Argonne Road. I added the note, page number 116 or page 176. East of Argonne Road. Page number. There was also the question about what aviation operations totaling 69,796 were. They are aircraft operations. The figure represents the combined number of takeoffs and landings. So I added that in there.
What we were looking for.
Yep. So that's in there. So I added that in there. Yeah. So that's in there.
Oh, yeah.
There are, yeah, Tetra Mills.
So that was all on page 176 of the packet.
Oh, yeah.
There are, yeah.
The next was page 276 of the packet, or page 216 of the comp plan, was a reference to the urban forestry management plan, which is the tree ordinance you're referring to. Yep. And so that's what I'll send to, which is to Graham, the tree ordinance you're referring to. Yep. And so that's what I'll send to, which is to Graham, the tree ordinance you're referring to. Yep. And so all the data there. Okay, so that's been added in. And then the city financial summary has been added on page 287 of the packet, or the comp plan, page 227. It's just basically an overview of how the city does their financing, their financial outlook, what the current budget summary was, and then a diagram outlining the levies, etc. So it gives an overall on city finance and how that'll play in for the council when they're looking at caps and overall allocations. Then I also made reference to utilization of the Argonne Congestion Relief Project funds starting at utilization of the Argonne Congestion Relief
Quick
Project
question on page 288.
Yes.
Says city operated on an annual budget in 2024, 3,610,000. City operated on an annual budget. Chart down below in 2020 shows that the estimated expenditures are 6,798,000.
With the estimated revenue, it's outside of general fund. Now, this is not my world, so I'll disclaimer that. But the way I understand it is that the revenue and the expenditures need to balance in addition to the beginning balance. So when you're looking at a total estimated ending balance is 2.7 million. And so everything is balanced on a government account terms. Not my wheelhouse, but everything is balanced. So I just use the data and put it in.
I'm just looking at our annual budget.
So I just use the data and put it in.
3,610,000 doesn't come close to either the estimated revenue or the expenditures.
Does it include the grants? We've got some huge grants that might throw things off.
Or the expenditures.
Yeah, no, I know. But if we got a $3 million road grant, it was not counted as our budget. But
Yeah.
I don't know, we got $1 million.
I believe Bobby's on the correct track.
Not counted as our
Okay,
budget.
thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know, we got $1 million.
I believe Bobby's on the correct track.
Okay, thank you.
So that was the safe financial summary. When it comes to the climate change and resiliency element, I was speaking with Graham and kind of looking at the schedule, and I think what we're gonna end up doing is putting in a placeholder for chapter 12, so that we can move forward with the comp plan. We can go back in and add, the CR policies to the ones that make reference and anything else that's applicable. Since they're already in there, that's easy to do, and then we have the CR. And then any new climate policies for chapter 12 would be a placeholder. That way we can move through the adoption of the comp plan, get into the implementation side, and then when the county catches up to us and they're ready, then we can come back as an amendment to the county catches to us and they're ready, then we can come back.
After we know what their plans are, then we can come back and fine tune.
Yes, yeah, that's my suggestion. It was pretty close, but she was saying fall, and her fall, I think, is gonna be after your September hearing. So I think that's the best way to go forward with it, is I'll change it, gonna be after your
Will
September
we be
hearing.
able to integrate the new policies in with our list of
Yes.
goals?
Yes, and so I'll continue to leave a note in there that the additional policies will be added as applicable for the climate. So I'll continue to leave a note in there that the additional policies will be added as. Yep, I figured that's the cleanest way to do it, so we're not holding up our end, and we can keep it. Yep, I figured that's the cleanest way to do it, so we're
Paper
not
mill
holding up
in
our end, and we
Millwood.
can keep it.
And they've got a lot of gas and electricity and a lot of emissions and things like that. How do we I mean, they're kind of over here.
So, again, Millwood doesn't have to look at the emissions side, but I know that that was looked at as part of that. Again, we have to look at the resiliency side. And so, on the resiliency side, we're looking at the tree canopy. We have, the amenities at the park, with the cooling and stuff. We have the opportunities to partner the amenities cooling areas, like you said, with the churches and the schools. It's those kinds of things of how we can deal with the climate impacts, whether we don't have to deal with the emissions with the climate impacts because Millwood's too small.
However, the paper mill has moved in the correct direction. They used to have a whole lot of natural gas, they moved a lot of that to a lot less and more electricity now. They have their waste management, recycling their ponds and things, and they're pretty much, partly because of management, state rules on what can go into the river, they're pretty much forced to go cutting edge on a whole lot of these things. So if anything, they'd help us to go cutting edge on a
I
whole
was
lot
involved in
of
the shoreline management plan years ago, and we got to take a tour.
Yes.
I was involved in the very shoreline management, they are working hard to go, and we got to minimize the impact that they have involved in the waste. Shoreline management, they are working hard to go, and we got to minimize.
And then the next would be, I actually just spoke with Graham to, confirm my suspicions, but I've been watching forever for a resolution on the housing allocation, and then I realized it looks like we won't get one because we have the hat. And so we've all worked through with the hat, and so I'm gonna take out the reference to the resolution 25 threshold question, and instead move the Millwood Community Survey results up to Appendix C, since that kind of kicked everything off, and it makes it a whole lot cleaner, so we don't renumber everything, so you won't see an appendix tonight coming next, and it makes it a whole lot cleaner, so we don't renumber everything. And then the part I wanted to focus on the majority tonight, because it's the first time you've seen it, and then first time you've seen the new versions, is the definitions, and then I didn't change anything on the acronyms. And so before I get into the definition side, Bobby, did you have some questions on anything else?
I have questions on the census numbers, kind of what they tell us.
And did you get the email I sent you?
I did, yes,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Because when I saw them come over, they weren't that different than what we already had, so I'm wondering if there's.
Thank you very much.
Because when I saw them come over,
They were different, they were the same as what we had found, but something you had gotten earlier made it look like we've become less diverse.
Okay, so that was the consistent numbers you saw.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yes, the actual census numbers, and yes, we have just progressively gotten more diverse.
Yeah, as our diversity grows, so does the county. It's kind of interesting how it ties in.
Yeah,
As
which makes
our
sense.
diversity
It's
grows, so does
basically
the
one
county.
house.
It's kind of interesting how it.
But yes.
Is there a specific page?
Yes, packet page 109, but yes.
Is there a specific page?
Just yes, packet page number that I have had trouble with from the beginning, and now I question whether that I would have some numbers. I have had trouble with from the beginning, and now I question whether that I would have the percent of Black or African American that are extremely low income. Percent of Black or African American that are.
And is it chart, figure 4-9?
Yep. African American.
And is it chart, figure 4-9?
Yep. African American.
And is it chart, again, it's, first of all, I did the disclaimer at the bottom because it is ACS and, CHAS data. But number two, as it was discussed, with me, via Congress and stuff, it is based on how the households identify. As it was discussed, with me, via Congress and
Based on
stuff,
how
it
the
is
household
based on
identifies, you compare census data where they actually counted people versus where they're sampling people. And
Could you find this data in the census that broke it down like this? Because I couldn't.
no, and
Okay, that's our problem, this is the only data we have, and so that's why I had to do the disclaimer.
No,
Okay.
I think we need
That's our
more than
problem.
just
This is the only data we have.
If you look at the numbers that you got from Commerce, and you look at, if you look at the numbers that you got from Commerce, owner occupied, if you look at the householder who is black or African American alone, owner occupied, first of all, altogether, total households who identify householder as black or African American, we have 9. Altogether, total households. 3 of them own their own home.
Yes.
Is it likely that 100% are extremely low income? When is it likely when a third of them own their own homes? Extremely.
You can be a homeowner and be low income.
I think we're dealing with the same thing we were dealing with those numbers that showed us less diverse.
Well, there is another answer that I found out, and this happened to Medical Lake. They were having some of the same questions, and it may play in here, because we have such a high senior population. If a senior household is living off of their savings, they are likely in the low income or extremely low income category, because they do not have an income. They are living off their savings. So it does throw the data a little bit, but it's not just us, it's Medical Lake, it's anybody that has a small population.
What I would
But it's not just us,
ask
it's
or
Medical
recommend,
Lake, it's anybody that has a
especially
small
here, but also
population.
some other places, let's put the actual numbers of the margin of error. Especially here, but
Okay.
also, you know, we have 9 households, plus or minus 10. I don't know. That's the kind of things I was coming up with for the plus or minus 10. We have this crazy margin of error. And I think that when you're dealing with such a large margin of error, we should actually state it. Because people see 100%, they think 100%. They don't think maybe 100%, maybe 30%. People see 100%, though it's all in the margin of error. They don't think maybe.
I'll see what I have on the chart if it specifies the actual percentage. What I saw was anything over the 30. Specifies the actual percentage. What I saw sampling was different between sample value 30. It's where they reference the table A's, which is what I added in here.
Right, it says, okay.
30%. It's where they reference the, I don't know if each chart had its own percentage. I'll look, but I don't know if it did, because that's why I added the additional language here and added the reference about label D, because that's why I added the additional language here and added the reference about label D.
But that's not the same as saying margin of error plus or minus the number that we're dealing with. That gives you a whole different feel.
Well, and the other thing is, let me double check and see, there is no other chart, but let me see if we can get to the same info with this chart coming out. There is no other chart.
And maybe somewhere in there we can put down third chart.
That's the black household.
And maybe somewhere in there we can put down is a different third chart.
Yeah.
Being selected can give the wrong people. And I take your point on seniors. The other thing about seniors, not only are some of them living on their income or their investments, but they also own their homes. The other thing about seniors, not only are some of them living on their income or their investments, but they also, that's gonna, so they may not be financially challenged as they look. So that's gonna, so they may not be looking at here. Financially challenged as they look. So that's gonna, so they may not be looking at here. Financially challenged as they.
So I'll give it one more try to see if I can do anything on it. I don't know what I can. But then that's the last one you can do. One more try to see if I can do. So it's either I pull it out and we're missing data. I don't know if I can do that. I can try and add the percentage specifically of margin of error. Or the actual number, or the number.
And we know that there are 9 households.
Yeah.
I mean, if absolutely nothing else, let's put a little note in there saying we're only dealing with 9 households.
Okay.
I mean, we're giving, I think, a false picture. I mean, we're giving, and there may be some other sections ones. And there may be some other
Yes,
sections.
Savannah.
Just like digging into those really small
Yes, Savannah.
overview, like what does that mean?
But it shows respect to all ethnic all people of ethnic backgrounds to not be misrepresenting their level of poverty, ethnic. All people of ethnic backgrounds to not be misrepresenting their level of poverty. I see it as a respect for our misrepresenting their level of our minority populations in Millwood to not be misrepresenting the level of poverty they have. Our minority population. I personally know some that are very unhappy about that, who are insulted, actually, who do not fall into this level of poverty and are rather insulted that it actually makes it do not fall into everybody does. Level of poverty and are rather insulted that it actually makes it do not fall into everybody does.
Well, and looking at our 14A, the only thing that this chart does versus that is the comparison to previous. And so since we have the data in 14A, we might be able to pull, and it's a 4-8. We might be able to pull 4-9 out where the A, it's a chart wasn't a shape. We might be able to pull 4-9 out where the A, it's a chart wasn't a shape. We might be able to pull 4-9 out. Did you have another question? We might be able to pull 4-9 out. Did you have another question?
On page 145.
Packet.
Packet, page 145. On page 145. Down in the chart 11. On page 145. At the bottom, it says the difference between number of households in the income group and the number of rental units. It says affordable difference between number of income group, and yet we say that we have a shortfall of 91 units, and yet we say that we have because they don't cost enough. So that isn't really. They're very affordable. If we're going to say affordable too, you can afford a unit that's less than what somebody has decided you should pay.
But it actually goes back to, I understand what you're saying on that. It goes back to our other comparison where we have people that are buying less than they can afford. And that is what goes, so basically we have people, in a perfect world, everybody would have their 2.5 times their income, whatever, for their house. It's not a perfect world. And so what this chart is really showing is, because people aren't buying to their max, it's creating either a surplus or a deficiency in certain categories. And actually that holds true when I went through the half, where there's a surplus in the 50 to 80. That wasn't a hard category. There's actually a shortfall in the greater than 80. That's kind of what I found in the half. They matched up. And so this chart did seem to correspond with how we were allocating out in half. And so this chart
I'm not questioning.
okay.
I'm questioning the verbiage. I'm not or the or actually I have problems with the concept. My perfect world. I'm not or the goal is to get so far ahead that you don't have to. My perfect. If you want a smaller house, you don't have to pay whatever percent somebody's decided. And to me, you know, that's your perfect. You don't have to pay. You pick your perfect home. You don't pick it based on, gee, I should be affording a house. That's your perfect fit. Yeah. Pick your perfect home. And the fact that it says the number of rental units affordable to the income group. The number of those 91 are very affordable to that income group. The number, but it's called a shortfall. Very affordable. It isn't a shortfall. It's like an but it's overflow.
Okay.
If you follow what I mean?
I do. I
We're
just don't
saying
know.
that they can't afford. They're saying that group cannot afford. Follow what I mean?
I do. I just don't know.
That they can't afford. They're saying that group cannot afford. It's not true.
I do.
We decided they should afford more homes. They're saying that group cannot afford. It's not true.
So I don't know how much does the planning commission want to dig in on this one, because again, it's commerce. So I don't know how much does the planning commission want to dig in on this one. This one's kind of a concept. Again, it's commerce. Yeah.
And they don't match. Okay, so the income group.
This one's kind of a concept.
Again, don't match up. And they don't match. Okay, so the income group, you know, not affordable. Don't match up. So that, you have to put that whole chart in as they have it with their words.
Well, it's
So
one of the
that-
data that
you
was
have to put
provided
that whole
to
chart
us,
in
yeah. I don't,
as they have it with their words.
I mean, I
Well,
can
it's
maybe
one of the data
modify
that was
the
provided
wording a
to
little
us.
bit. I don't, but it was prepared, you know, per the Chaz wording a little bit. But it was prepared, modify our summary a little bit, like we already did, highlighted in yellow, was where we talked about the housing choices made by seniors. Summary a little bit, like we already did, highlighted in yellow, was where we talked about the housing choices made by seniors.
It's just a small,
Like we already did, highlighted
technical
in
thing.
yellow,
I'll
was
grant
where we
that.
talked about the housing choices made by
Not
seniors.
technically small.
Like we already did, highlighted
True.
in yellow, was where we talked about the housing choices made by
So I don't know, rental units. True. So I don't know, rental units. True. Hate to say appropriate to the income group, but. So I don't know, rental units. True. Hate to say. Seems like there should be another word rather, that match the income group or.
So the match is the,
Seems like there should be another word rather, that match the income
so,
group.
oh, on the plus or minus, match is
Yeah.
the rental units, so the issue is the word affordable.
That match Yeah. the income
So,
group.
oh, on
Corresponding?
the plus or minus, match is
Yeah.
the rental corresponding
units,
would be
so the
okay?
issue Be a lot more comfortable.
Okay,
Corresponding.
I can change that, I'll just go right over the top.
Yeah.
Corresponding would be okay?
Be a lot more comfortable.
Okay, I can change that, I'll just go right over the top. Corresponding would be
Right.
okay?
Next, I've got
Change that, I'll just go right over the top.
questions on the,
Next.
definitions.
Okay, then we're on to definitions. All right, so,
So that's in the appendix.
okay, then we're on to definitions. All right, packet page 300.
So that's in the appendix.
Okay, then we're on to definitions. All right. So, what I did was go through and take the current definitions in state law that will be transitioning over to our development regulations as well, for the middle housing groups and accessory dwelling units, the definition of affordable housing, those are all coming straight from state law on what they are. So I updated them in here to reflect that. And then, I also added a disclaimer in here, because when you look at, off the top of my head, I can't come up with a great one, but you look up a definition of something and it may be different than what's in state law. And so, I added the disclaimer, the terms in this plan, and I can't give credit, I actually borrowed this from another jurisdiction. Very few jurisdictions actually have definitions in their comp plan, mostly all in their development regulations. And so I actually had a little bit of a fun time finding this, but I did. So the terms of this plan embody the legislative intent of the city council. Terms of ordinary usage are to be given their usual and reasonable meanings. Keywords and concepts used in this plan are displayed below. When words defined below conflict with definitions in the Millwood Municipal Code, the MMC shall prevail unless the term defined in the comprehensive plan is more current. So it just says again that, when the Millwood Municipal Code is the law, essentially this is the guide, and so if there is a conflict, so say, the definition of accessory dwelling units gets updated, so if there is a conflict, or say, or I mean, the definition MMC, but for some reason it got missed in here, then the MMC will prevail, hopefully. Or I mean, that's MMC, but for some reason. And then when words defined below conflict with a provision of statewide or regional law, the more restrictive interpretation will prevail unless it leads to conflict with a provision of statewide or regional law, the more restrictive. And you'll see very similar when we put definition updates in the municipal code as well. And you'll see very similar. So, again, these are just state law ones that are now included on the accessory dwelling units and the affordable housing. Complete streets is carried over from my reference further in the comp plan. Just basically saying it includes, streets for all ages, abilities, and modes. Just basically saying it includes. Comprehensive plan, added just a little bit of, info on that, referencing, and I need a close paragraph on that, referencing the RCW and stuff, since, this one's so stringent on that. Referencing the RCW and stuff, since, this one's so stringent on that. Referencing the RCW and stuff. Cottage housing, courtyard apartments, those are all carried over. Development regulations, I just refined that a little bit. Development standards, to show the difference, I put that in. Updated duplex, added the definition of dwelling unit, added the definition of emergency housing, fiveplex, fourplex, again, all from the state laws. And household, that's another one that updated. So a lot of codes, I don't believe yours was one of them, but a lot of codes defined household as people that had to be related. That's all been thrown out household. And so yours, I just said living city. So I knew we'd be okay. And so yours,
My
I just said
input
living
would be,
city.
I would also recommend
So I knew we'd be okay.
put the term householder. My input would be,
Householder?
yes, we had to ask about that, put the term householder. My input would be, because we have a lot of charts that talk about householders.
Okay.
So we should know.
So meaning the head of household,
The old head of
yeah.
household, the
Yeah.
person who identified
So meaning
on
the head of household,
the old head of household, the
Yeah.
person who identified on stuff as the applicant. The old head of household, the person who identified on stuff must be applicant. It's the old head of household.
yeah.
The person who identified.
I'll come up with better language for that, but yes.
So we end up with,
I'll come up with better
Households.
language for that, but yes.
so we end up in our charts,
I'll come up with better
households
language
are
for that,
defined.
but yes.
So we end up in our charts, the household. So that when we talk about minority households, we're talking about the householder.
Yeah, so if you have
Who
a,
gets counted is the talking about.
so if you have a Caucasian head of household, yeah, so if data, but yet you have five,
Everybody else is
adopt minority kids, they may be identified as a Caucasian household. Yeah. Or they may be more new, it's the two or more races, that kind of has come and gone. Or they may be more new, it's the two or more races, that kind of has come and gone. More new, and then, that kind of has come and gone. I updated the definition of manufactured mobile homes since they are interchangeable now, so I updated that. I added what a major transit stop is, now,
Yes.
so I updated that.
Under the manufactured
I added
home, it
what a
says they
major
are not
transit stop
modular.
is. That is correct, modular,
Not modular to be defined.
that is correct. We can do a definition of modular, it's not anywhere in the common, so that's why I
Going
did.
to define
Can
manufactured
do a definition of
in
modular, it's
relation
not
to
anywhere in the
modular
common.
home. We better
So
say
that's why I
going
did.
to define manufactured in relation. So what makes a mobile home not modular? What is the difference?
Not built on a chassis.
So what makes a
So to the best of my knowledge,
modular home is not built on?
correct. Modular homes are like Stratford homes, have you ever heard of those? To the best of my knowledge, they are built in a factory, modular, then they are disassembled and then reconstructed on site. They are built in a factory.
So they don't need anything to hold it together.
Yeah, on site. They are built in a factory.
So they don't need anything to hold it together.
Yeah, Stratford are, yeah.
So they don't need anything.
And that actually was something, that's just like tidbit, that, somebody here in Millwood, looked at as a housing option. Those are not cheap anymore. They're about the same cost as a housing option. Those are not cheap anymore. They're about the same cost as a housing option. Those are not cheap anymore. They're about the same cost as a housing option. Okay, now the fun one. The brand new, as I'm going through here, so,
I had one
okay,
page.
now the fun one.
Page 304.
The brand new, as I'm going through
Millwood
here, so,
Central Business
that's
District.
my one we're going over right now.
Page 304. Okay, there's a typo.
Brand new, as I'm
So
going through
Millwood
here,
Central Business
that's
District.
my one we're going over
I
right
can
now.
barely read.
Okay, there's a typo. Oh, this one wasn't bad. There's some others. I had my magnifying glass, I had a light, and I still could not. Oh, this one wasn't bad. There's some others. I had the mixed use areas, which contains, it either has to be area which contains, or it has to be areas which contain. Which combination both, it has to be area which contains, or it
one mixed use area, so it's area. Yeah, okay.
Unless you're counting the side of the tracks, and that side of the tracks, it's different
So it's
areas.
area. No, cause it's all, C2 is all mixed
That
use.
side of the tracks, it's
And
different
the
areas.
other thing, I'm trying to think, maybe I did areas because C1 will has the opportunity for mixed use as well. But that's not included in central business district, so yeah, it should be area.
Okay, then you can keep the S.
But that's not included in central business. So the commercial mixed use area along Argonne Road identified below, which contains small retail. Okay. So the commercial mixed use area along Argonne Road identified. Okay, so how this came about was, when I was talking to Shireen about the application for the Washington Main Street communities, I realized as part of the application, I'm like, oh, we may need a map, identifying our central business district. So I go back to the comp plan, I'm like, oh, there's a historic district, but that's not the CBD. So I go back. We had no map. No. So I went through and looked at options. A lot of what this is based on is it encompasses the commercial areas of the historic district, number one. It also encompasses our public facilities because, especially Washington Main Street community, identifies like the public parks and stuff as public gathering spaces and references, and basically you get bonus points when they're in your central business district and stuff. And so I kind of drafted the both maps based on that, and the difference between the two maps is essentially map 2's southern boundary goes down lower, and I wrote a note here. The maps include Millwood Park and City Hall as part of the historic downtown commercial district due to the farmers market relocation from Dalton to Millwood Park, the pedestrian connectivity between Millwood Park and downtown Millwood, and the Main Street approach's utilization of downtown parks as integral components of revitalization efforts, quote, to serve as public gathering spaces, enhance community identity, and support local businesses by attracting visitors and hosting events. So even though it's not a commercial realm, the park isn't, but it does host the farmers market. So even though it's not into the essentially the downtown, but it does. So that is where I came up with this. I stopped at Marguerite because that was the end of the commercial section of the historic business district. And then the question kind of was, and I went all the way up to the row, basically to the river on the IEP side, because who knows what they'll do in the future, if they'll put any storefronts on the road there or whatever, expand. I wanted to make sure the opportunity was there, because a lot of a CBD designation is the opportunity for expand. I wanted to make sure the opportunity was there, because a lot of a CBD designation is the opportunity for expand. I wanted to make sure the opportunity was there. And I just based it off of where the entrance to IEP is to kind of balance the two sides. I just based it off of where the entrance. And then the option one, CBD option one, is the Frederick Avenue, and it goes down to the last open parcel right below. Let's see, and it goes down 2 parcels down from Frederick on the west side of Argonne. Option 2 takes it all the way down to Grace to include, for lack of a better word, strip mall area on the west side of Argonne, but also includes like the Design Alliance, I believe is their name, and some of the other, pretty cute businesses along the east side there. And so this is, again, totally up to you guys, but these are the 2 attempts, and whichever one you pick, and so this is, again, totally up to you guys.
Shouldn't you go up to track to include
Attempts, and whichever one you pick, and so this is. It's not the central business district, though. That, I thought about that too. And I was trying to think about what the original intent was and how it was worded, and that's why I didn't go to track. And I was trying to think about what the original intent was and how it was worded, and that's the historic side. But since then, it's now, the central is really further, it kind of encompasses just the historic side. So it's, on the map too, the central is really further. When you show, when we overlay, it'll show what's the historic district, it can have the zoning, all that. But I was saving that for the development. What's the historic district?
I'm wondering why
But I was saving that for the development.
sure southern line, where the line is for C2. So we got this little chunk of C2 that's not in the central business district, and it's not very big.
On option 2 or?
Yes, that's not.
The old Bank of America parcel?
It's not very big.
On
And
option
yes. Is it a lawyer there
The
now?
old Bank of America?
Or-
Yes, the red roofed one right there.
Right,
Okay.
Is there a
Do you
lawyer
want
there
to
now?
include that C2 down there? Do you
It
consider that?
seems kind of strange to have the only part of C2 not
Do you want to
included be
include that C2 down there? Do you consider
area.
that?
Seems kind of strange to have the
Okay,
only.
it's because I stopped at Grace.
Unless we have a really good reason.
Yeah, the only reason was stopping at Grace. Okay, it's because I stopped at Grace.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, the only reason was
for one,
stopping at Grace.
the lawyer's office is kind of cute. Yeah, and, that would pick up the school district office too, which is not a bad thing.
So you're saying take it to Buckeye?
That would pick up the school district.
No, because Buckeye would leave the bank out. So you're saying take it.
I'm saying,
Then you gotta include Walgreens. See, yeah, this is the thought.
Those are C1 though.
yeah,
Yeah.
let's go with the C2.
Then you gotta include
We already have a
Walgreens.
line.
Yeah, that's the thought. So take it to the southern boundary of C2?
Because I'm trying to remember what.
Okay, yeah. So take it to the southern boundary. Oh, see, we have it in the comp plan.
So my thought,
Remember what.
whenever I think of Millwood Central,
Oh, see, we have it in the comp plan.
so I think of the trash hauler.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I think.
Right.
And everything that, when we've gone through the discussions about a lot of different things, when I want to turn the tracks north, discussions about a lot of different things, when I want to turn, okay, or something like what they've done in Hill discussions. Okay, that's the central business. And I think when people think of non-residents, okay, that's the center, that's what they would think was the center. And I think when people think of
It goes to Buckeye.
non-residents, okay,
So it does go to Buckeye.
that's what
Okay.
they would think was the center. And I think
So the, part of the reason I went south of the tracks is we're looking at two different things. What you're referencing and what I look at as not being real resident, that's your historic business district. That's where it started. And then since it's progressed down, looking at redevelopment options, looking at the C2 code and how it's worded and everything, you really want to look at the options south of the track too, when you're talking central business district. Because it's going to give opportunities, because there is a vacant lot when you're just kitty corner here, you could have something on there if it's included in a central business district, like possibly what, is going north of Yukon. So it could give opportunities for mixed use building like that, if they can do like the public infrastructure funds. So it could give opportunities for
I
mixed
think
use
the question is,
if
does,
they can do like the
does it
public
hurt us to expand our definition? I mean, we're still going to be concentrating on that area. It's still the area that has the natural, we're still going to be charm. But does it hurt us to have our definition be a little more expansive? Charm, but does it hurt us to have our definition be a little more expansive?
That's what this is. There was no definition, it was a
Well, I mean,
reference.
that's the central business district. This is the.
That's what this is. There was no definition, it was a reference. Well, actually, it was the historic business district that was defined. Central business district wasn't. Well, actually, it was the historic
I mean,
business
it's been
district that
fun
was defined.
since I moved here in the '70s.
Well, actually, it was the historic.
Anybody
business
said
district
Millwood Central Business District, everybody in town knew what you were talking about. Most of those buildings were empty with nothing in them. Lots of businesses on Trent. Still, you said Millwood's downtown. You said Millwood's business district. Still, you said this. And when there was no logic, it's just what seemed right to anybody who lived here.
You know what? What if, and we have to decide the southern boundary too, but what if I added Millwood Central Business District includes the historic the southern boundary too, but what if I added Millwood Central Business District? What if, and we have to
Yeah,
the southern
you could
boundary too, but what if I added
throw
Millwood
that
Central
word in there.
Business District? What if, and we have to
Yeah,
It makes, make sure it's clear.
throw that word in there.
Okay, so
Yeah,
now just
It makes, make sure it's clear.
what you said.
throw that word in there.
Okay, so why wouldn't you include, say now, just
It makes,
whatever
make
it's
sure it's
called,
clear.
let's just say what you said.
See
Starbucks,
why.
why wouldn't that be included? Why wouldn't you?
For one thing,
say
we
whatever it's
have,
called, what you said.
goals and policies that refer to making a difference between the Trent business district and the central business district. You're not going to make Safeway or North 40 or Arrow Construction look anything like a central business district, but these little along Argonne you could look anything.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, no, I understand.
But these little
So we can keep the homey atmosphere.
Yeah, that's.
I understand businesses that are basic, so we can keep the homey atmosphere.
And if we build new ones, we want them to have that same kind of feel. We don't want them to be big box stores. So
And that's why we put that sign ordinance in, monument signs. That makes sense to me, I agree with that. Monument signs. That makes sense to me, what's that?
If that's the case, do you go option one?
That makes sense to me, what's that?
If that's the case, do you go option one? And did you say?
No, it is C2. I'm just checking the map I have.
Yes.
And did you say?
There were inconsistencies in some checking the
So,
map I have.
are we kind of in agreement that we wanna move
There were.
option, go to option two, so that extended? Are we kind of in agreement that we wanna
that's
move
my gut.
Okay.
option, go to option?
So option 2 extended to Buckeye, that would still leave out the Bank of America piece.
But it's C1.
So option 2
that's-
extended to Buckeye, and then it would leave out as she's showing me, I'd have to look in the comp plan, I wanna make sure I've got the correct map of the comp plan. As she's showing me, I'd have to pause for just 1 minute, I'll pull it up here. Because I know part of the Bank of America piece is C2.
The parking lot or something.
It is the parking lot.
Yeah.
I know part of the Bank of America. So, do we just leave that out of it? Then okay, all right, then I don't even need to look it up. Okay, so we're going option 2, so no 1, I'll take it out. Okay, all right, then I don't even need to. And extend to option 2, so no 1, I'll take it out. Okay, all right, then I don't need to. And extend to option 2, so no 1, I'll take it out.
Savannah, are you following along?
And extend to option 2, so no 1, I'll take it out.
Savannah, are you following along?
Okay.
Yay.
Does that sound good to you, Savannah?
Savannah, are you following along?
Okay. I will make that update for the next
Does
plan.
that sound good to you, Savannah?
Okay.
Savannah, are you following along?
So that's on
I will
there.
make that
update for the next
Does that sound good to you, Savannah?
So that's all right. Mixed use residential. I added that definition in because we referenced so much in here in like C1 about mixed use residential. I added that definition in because we referenced multifamily housing. I clarified that. Currently in the development regulation side, it's 3 or more units, but as we know, the more housing comes in, and so 5 or more separate housing units or apartments for residential inhabitants that are contained within one building or several buildings within one apartment complex is residential inhabitants that are contained within one. And then permanent supportive housing, I added that definition straight from the statute. And then permanate supportive housing, I added disparate impacts. I just realized I still had a question mark on that. I need to add that. Permanent supportive housing. Go back and look it up. Disparate impacts. I just realized I still had a question mark on that. I need to add that. Okay, I will go back to my placeholder. Senior age restricted housing. I only added this because we talked about it in the community survey, and who knows, on the development regulations side, we may refer to it more. But essentially, it's housing designated or managed for persons over the age of 55, although specific age restrictions may vary. Your Millwood Estates would be classified as senior age restrictions may vary. It seems funny, but I went ahead to be consistent, put single-family detached home, single-family house definition in there. But I went ahead added sixplex. I took out Spokane County's model P Model 2. That's out. Sixplex. So I pulled that out. I did add the definition of SRTC. I added the new definition for the SRTC travel demand model. I added the new definition for the SRTC townhouse demand model legislation. And the rest is all the same. And I don't think I added any legislation. Nope. And the rest is all the same. And I don't think I added any. So other than householders, is there any other definitions that I forgot to add? So other than householders, okay, is there any other definition? Modular, and add modular, yep. Householder and modular. Householder. So between now and the next meeting, of course, because the following one is the public hearing for the whole comp plan. If there is any other definitions you want to add, please let me know. Feel free to shoot me an email too, because if there is any other definitions you want to add, please let me know. Feel free to shoot me an email too.
Any questions on what we just covered with Amanda for the periodic updates? Any questions on what we just covered? That brings us to public remarks. Mr. Beasy. Any questions on what we just covered? That brings us to public remarks. Mr. Beasy. Any questions on what we just covered? That brings us to public remarks. Mr. Beasy.
Tom Beasy, 8610 East South Riverway, Millwood, resident. In the previous presentation, under bullet head of ideas that had West Valley High School and churches, would something to think about the Masonic Lodge. They kind of have a big room. They have kitchen facilities, and they have lavatories, no shower facilities, but they just updated and finished, and they have lavatories, no shower facilities, but they just updated and
Great suggestion.
Yeah.
Great suggestion.
I can add that to the list of possible partnerships.
Great suggestion.
Yeah. I can add that to the list of
Brings us
possible
to the
partnerships.
city planner report.
Alrighty. Yeah. Pinch that in the very end.
To the city planner report.
Alrighty, there we go. Pinch that in the very end.
To the city planner report.
Alrighty, there we go. Pinch that in the very end. Oh, it's double-sided, that's how I pinch.
I may not. I'm so focused.
Oh, it's double-sided, that's how.
Getting that appendix in there, I think I forgot the line.
You missed 2 pages out of all of this.
Well, because
I
there
have
were
it.
453 in the full one. I had to do it.
2 pages out of all
And I
of
said, when I cut it down to just do the appendix A, because in your packet that I just sent you, and the packet down to the website, it's all in there, and then your report that I get. So that's why it's in there, I apologize. I can't, can you pull it up? Because I have that whole line in there, that's 453 pages. Can you pull it up? Because I have that whole line.
Hey, we're pulling out the resolution, there goes a few pages.
There it is, the last page is 452.
Yeah. Hey, we're pulling
Right
out the
there, so
resolution,
it is
there
on the
goes a few
website, the
pages.
first one, there it is, the last page, so.
I even clipped it at the end of the comp plan.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so we could skip over all the planning commission stuff. We are still awaiting the final written decision on the 9011 East South Riverway appeal, but the city council did reaffirm my initial decision, and we're just gonna look at the written one coming forth on August 12th. My initial decision. And we're just gonna. It was on the fence permit, so I denied the front fence that's over 42 inches tall. And then back, the 25 feet can't be over 42 inches tall. So the one on the road's fine, but the one on the west side was not. And then anything further back there, the fencing part was okay minus the barbed wire was not. And then I did a whole lot of other references to future projects like the shed and stuff. But as far as the fence goes, the front. And then I did a whole lot of other references to future
Question.
projects like the shed.
I thought,
As far as the fence
and
goes.
maybe
I'm
misunderstanding what you said. I thought side fences had to be 42 inches. Maybe it's 8 feet. Misunderstanding what you just said. I thought side fences.
So when there were many renditions of the fence standards.
We
So
beat this up
when
pretty
the,
hard.
yeah, and we literally pulled all of them. The one that is included in the current Millwood Municipal Code has front side fences. So a front setback in the R3 zone is 25 feet. So front side is within that 25 feet.
From the right.
From the right. Well, from the property line. Yeah, which usually is the same, but not always.
Right, that's from the right.
Yeah. And then, I'm assisting with the code enforcement on the retaining wall, issue, and there's also, additional paving that was included in there. So there is a chance, that you may see some stuff coming forward on those included in there. So there is a chance. One of the things the SMP had was planning on was included in I just don't remember which component. I can't remember. One of the things that
And then, Euclid Mixed Use Building Civil Re-Review, they actually just came back with that, and so, civil is all approved now, and we're just waiting on the final things back. They actually just came back with that. 9204 East Grace, there was an ADU review and approval, so she's gonna convert a garage to an ADU under what the current standards are,
and then we'll we modify it slightly when we update it to the state law standards. And then we'll we modify it slightly when we update it to the
One.
Yeah, actually, I still have a lot of people inquiring about the ADUs, and every one of them, it seems, except for her, for the most part, are waiting until we have the state, because it just makes us, it seems, except for her.
Another fence approval on Empire, and then just coordinating with other jurisdictions. 2026 periodic update, you guys are pretty all involved in that. The one thing, and I think I covered this on July 8th, or at council, I don't know who's left around after that. The one thing, and I think I
But we
covered this
did receive our $50,000 funding for part one of the planning update grant. We will now get into part 2A we're working through, and there'll be a part 2B for the last of 2026. So, we're working through.
more to come on that. And then lots of coordination.
Because I'm now on the traffic side and everything.
More to come
The
on that.
one thing, I apologize, I have to back up real quick.
Speaking of coordination,
I didn't cover it in my update, but you'll see, last time I talked about how we want to change some of the road designations and stuff to get more to the collector side. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get there before the comp plan is ready to go. So just in case, I made a correct, and I made a proposed. So everything will stay consistent with the comp plan, so if SRTC approves our request, so everything will stay consistent. And then going forward for our next update, we can just take out the proposed unless we want to make more changes. And then going forward for our next update, if we want to, yeah. But it would be consistent. We have, here is what's current right now, and here is what's proposed, and it made the charts. But it would be consistent. We have, here is what's current right now, and sorry if it was proposed, and it made the charts.
and yeah, just continuing coordination with everything with Spokane County and stuff. And then, and yeah, just continuing coordination with you all know about Spokane County and stuff. And then,
Was the meeting planning of
you all know about Spokane County and stuff.
Any questions for Amanda?
was the meeting planning of
You all know about Spokane County and stuff.
Any questions for Amanda? This is to commissioner comments. Commissioner Ripley. Commissioner Beasy. For Amanda. This is to commissioner comments.
I guess just a moment to recognize that we lost,
To
I
commissioner
think,
comments.
6 mature trees yesterday and today. Going the wrong direction on this climate change stuff. Yesterday and today, along Argonne, going the wrong direction. Beautiful trees, blooms in the summer, colored foliage in the fall, beautiful trees, shades in the summer, colored foliage in the fall, beautiful trees.
They didn't try to say it.
Shades in the summer. They couldn't have. There's gonna be pavement where they were saying.
They didn't try to say it.
They're putting another lane where they're trying. There's gonna be pavement. They're gonna try to save the Christmas
They
tree.
didn't try to say it.
They're putting another lane where they're trying. There's gonna be pavement. They're gonna try to save the Christmas tree. They're putting another lane where they're trying. They're gonna try to
That's,
save the Christmas tree.
It's too bad that there wasn't something in the contract that said any landscaping that they took out or removed. It's too bad that there wasn't something in the contract that said any somewhere in the city that if they got 6 trees on Argonne because of progress, I'm just gonna plant 6 trees somewhere.
I was disappointed they never took it to the tree commission to give comment on it. I was disappointed they never took it to the tree commission to give comment on it. I was disappointed they
Commissioner Mulder.
never took it to the tree commission.
Ask my questions and maybe my comments on that.
Commissioner Wu, any commissioner comment? Commissioner Mulder.
Ask my questions and maybe my comments on that.
Commissioner Wu, any commissioner comment? Commissioner Mulder. Commissioner Wu, any commissioner comment? Commissioner Wu, any commissioner
Yes. Yes. Okay, I did bring that to, to Kyle regarding the speed humps. Is that what you were referring to? I did bring that to Kyle regarding the speed humps. Is that what you were referring to? I did bring that to Kyle regarding the speed humps. Is that what you were referring to? I did bring that to Kyle regarding the speed humps. Is that what you were referring to? Okay, sorry. I will pull that up tomorrow and relook at it. Okay, sorry. I did speak to people about it, but I did not respond per se. Tomorrow and relook at it. I understand. Okay, sorry. I did speak to people about it, but I did not respond per se. Tomorrow and relook at it. I understand. Okay, sorry. I did speak to people about it, but I did not respond per se. Relook at it. I understand. I did speak to people about it, but I did not respond. Relook at it.
Thank you.
Is it too late to make a request like that if we lost those trees that they?
It'd be a change order because it wasn't included in the contract.
The mayor says that the city did not get enough land to plant trees farther in, so it would have to be the people who decided to do it themselves on the city did not get enough
Who owns the
land
arboretum?
to plant trees. We do. Well, we lease the arboretum. It's on a right of way on railroad.
Who owns the arboretum?
So yeah, we could plant them. We do.
Yeah, I saw it.
Lease the arboretum.
So, Whitman,
It's on a right of way on railroad.
Commissioner Rickard.
I'd like to
So yeah, we
suggest
could plant them.
trees
We do.
along Millwood
I
Trail.
saw it.
The majority of the trees along the north side of it have died.
Commissioner Rickard.
I'd like to suggest putting trees in there, especially the majority of the trees along the sides to it have died about a lot. I'd like to suggest putting trees in there, especially the majority of
I can see them from my window too, so that would help.
I find I walk the Millwood Trail, and I find it kind of funny how that all got put together because there's random sections that get sprinklered, and you got nice green on there, and then you've got how that all the bulk of the sections have got trees and dry land grass that get sprinkled, but it's just and you got nice green little pockets that and then you've got how that all the bulk of
Where
the
there was
sections
water,
have got trees
got water. Where
and
there was no water run.
but it's just and you got nice green little pockets. That's a good
Where there was water, got water. Where there was no water run.
It's just like little pockets. That's a good just thank everybody for their time, effort on this thing. Wow, huge, huge. That's a huge task. Everybody for their time. You know, Amanda, Lisa, great work. But I also want to thank the other commissioners because of the fact we have to review this, and I know this is a time commitment on our part. Lisa, great work. So, but I also want to thank the other commissioners. The only thing that I got going that we have to review this, and I know this is a time commitment just to throw out. So, the SRTC, you know, they're doing their Horizon to throw out. Horizon 2050 plan, and they've got their kind of an initial blurb coming up for the GSI meeting here. I'll be attending that because we sponsor an initial event. Blurb coming up for the GSI. It's going to be interesting to see how that all shakes out. And how it affects us. Luckily, you know, we talk about it just a little bit here, and I'm really looking forward to maybe the end of September, where it's supposed to be done out here by then.
Yeah, end of September.
I'm really looking forward to
Fingers crossed, yeah.
As part of Horizon 2050, it's Argonne Road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
end of September.
No, those things are coming.
As part of Horizon 20.
All right, well, if nobody has anything else, we don't have a staff report.
Oh, she doesn't.
All right, well, if nobody
Yeah,
has
but,
anything else.
Lisa and I wanted to ask you, as we're going into the set next meeting, which obviously is 27. But in between that, or right before that is Millwood Day. So, Lisa has tried to, apply for her again, there's no information about 2025 updates. But as of now.
Yeah, I can explain. We lost our
There's no information about 2025 updates. But as of now.
web designer,
Oh, the host, the web host? Oh,
the person that updated
yes,
this.
yes, okay.
And I think designer, some of his passwords are just coming to light. The person that,
Neighborhood advocates haven't said, yes, okay.
yeah, so that, but that's something I will take to light.
Shereen too, I've sent an email to Millwood now, and then I also
That,
called Shereen, but I
but
don't.
that's some, I'd be very confident that there will be no problem.
Okay, so going forward from
If
there.
nothing else, you can be in my backup. But I'm quite sure that,
One and double, Historic Press wants to do.
So going forward from
if
there.
nothing else, you can be in my backup.
And last time we had a double
I'm
in front of
quite
Bill.
sure that I'll take it to the board members that I know and make sure.
So, that would be August 23rd, and so we need to know if we need to do a special meeting notice based on how many people up from the planning commission may attend to help remove. I will disclaimer, Lisa's a saint. I actually will be gone to a 30th high school reunion and not here for Millwood Days. They schedule it the same weekend. And so she graciously is gonna man it for us. And so.
I tell you, you backing out on a meeting, Lisa Fairbanks with the planner recording. I tell you
So, as of right now, we anticipate having the climate survey there. Spokane County will be providing that. And then the periodic update info board. And like Lisa said, sharing half the booth with Historic Press. Who definitely is gonna attend, who might attend, and then we can decide if we need to do a sharing half the booth with Historic Press.
We can maybe split it up like we did last time, because I think it's 9 to 3. And so we can do something like 9 to 12, and then somebody else. We can maybe split it up like we did last time, because I think it's 9 to 3, morning, and so we can do something like 9 to 12, and then somebody else. We can maybe split it up like we did last time, because I think it's 9 to 3.
Okay.
Morning, and so we can do something like 9 to 12.
Excuses, excuses.
Okay.
Mike,
We're gonna make,
afternoon.
a
Afternoon.
Okay.
Anybody else? You, Mike?
we're gonna make.
Okay, well, either way, it would still only be 2.
Yep.
So we would be.
We're
fine.
okay.
Anybody else? You can do either one, and I'm assuming you're already. Okay, well, either way, yeah, still only be 2.
Charge to have.
So it would be.
We're okay.
Not if you're,
I'm assuming you're already.
if you're a nonprofit, it's free. If you're a business, then there's a monastery. Not if you're,
So just gotta
if you're a
show
nonprofit,
up,
it's free. If you're a business,
501c3 documentation to prove you're a nonprofit.
not if you're, yeah, they might just trust you, but make sure you have it in case they have to.
Bill will be our filler.
Yeah, they might.
Okay, so that's decided. We don't need to do a special meeting notice. There you go.
Bill will be our filler.
Yeah, they might.
Okay, so that's decided. We don't need to do a special meeting notice. There you go.
Okay, cool. Well, with that being our last item of business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay.
I move that we.
Well, with that being our last item of business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
I move.
Opposed? Well, with that being our last item of business, meeting adjourned.
We'll see everybody at the end of August.